And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, today we're taking a look at Kingdom Builder. Now, Kingdom Builder was lauded for a couple reasons. One, it was the first game after Dominion that was by designer Donald X. Vaccarino, and everyone, after the huge success of Dominion, people were expecting great things. Kingdom Builder also has won several awards. Its simplicity has really enthralled people. It's a game that a lot of people have really gotten into. I do not agree. Let's see why. Here's the board, which is like a map of a big country. There's trees and plains and mountains and valleys and water. Ooh. Now this board is made up of 4 smaller boards. Each of these boards, there's actually 8 boards, and you can flip them, but I guess you put them right side up. It doesn't really matter. You're going to pick 4, so there's lots of different combinations of boards. Each of the board also has a scoring track, so you'll take one of the 4 boards that you're not using and set it aside, and players will keep track of your gold that you get over a turn or points. Now, what players are going to do is they're going to have 3 cards that are set up randomly over here, and these are the goals that you're going for. Each of these 4 boards has a specific building that is unique to that board, and 2 tiles are placed there, and those buildings will give unique benefits, and so a special tile is placed there. Boards also have castles on them. Each board has 1 or 2 castles and then 1 or 2 spots for the special buildings. At the beginning of the game, each player is going to draw a hand of 1 card. On your turn, you will choose from your cards one of the cards to play. Okay, essentially you play your card. And then you'll place houses or settlements based on that card. Now, each player has 40 of these to place over the course of a game. You will then draw another card to use on the next turn. Now, when you place them down, you place down 3 settlements on a terrain type shown. So, for example, here I have the flower, prairie type, or whatever it is, the yellows, and so I can put out 3. Oh, actually, I have to put those on the flowers. Here's the flowers. So I put out 3 there, and they're all adjacent to each other. In the future, anything I play will have to be adjacent to those. So, for example, later on, if I play trees, I have to put them adjacent, but if there is none adjacent, then I can put them wherever I want, as long as they're on trees. And that will give me even more options. So in the future, when I draw the desert here, and I'm going to put out 3 houses on the desert, well, they're not adjacent to these, but I can make them adjacent to this group here. So you'll have different groups on the board as you progress, and you're making them, and that's what you do. You play cards. Now, if you make your group of settlements touch one of these palaces, at the end of the game, you're going to score points for that. If you make it touch one of these special tiles, though, you will take that tile and put it in front of you. Each special tile basically gives you a special ability that you can use before or after you play the cards from your hand. Each of these abilities, you can only use one of them, and you have to decide which one you use, but it will either let you put out an extra house or let you move a settlement that you already have on the board. For example, this one here lets you put out an extra settlement next to a row of 3 settlements. Over here, this lets you move one of your settlements to the same terrain of the card you just played. Down here, I could put out an extra settlement of the card I just played. And over here, you getting dizzy yet? Whoa, that one's not even there. Over here, this one here lets you jump one of your settlements 1 space. But you can put out an extra settlement on the water, on the prairie, on the desert. So there's all, here you can put one on the edge of the map. So each of these things will give you an extra thing where you can move or add an extra one. So players will be putting out 3 or 4 of these a turn. Now, when you place these, as you place them, eventually you're going to run out. When you run out, the game is going to end after all the players get their turns. Then they will score. You'll score 3 points for each of those palaces that you've touched, but you are also, and this is more important, you can look at these cards here. Each of these cards gives a bonus. For example, the fisherman here gives 1 gold for each of your own settlements that's built adjacent to 1 or more water hexes. So for every settlement you have next to water, you're going to get a point. Here, you want to have a large area. Here you get 1 gold, 1 point for every 2 of your own settlements in your largest own settlement area. So you look for your largest group of settlements, and you get 1 point for each one of those. And here, build settlements on many horizontal lines. You get 1 gold for every horizontal line on which you have built at least one of your own settlements. So you can see each of those things has a different kind of reaction. One makes me want to put next to water. Another one wants me to make it have a big group. Another wants me to make sure I have kind of a line that goes so I hit every horizontal line to get points. But those are not the only ones that are in the game. There's a whole pile of these cards that you can use. Here you get 1 for every location you have hooked contiguously to other locations and or castles. Here you want to build as many as you can on 1 line. Here you want to build a settlement in all 4 sectors. So there's different cards, and you can see what they are so you can go for those points. So you add those points, add it to the castle points, and the person with the most points is the winner. Gold, points, whatever. Kingdom Builder is loved by quite a few people, not so much by me. But let me try to explain why I'm not a big fan of the game. And at the same time, I do think the game is going to appeal to a lot of people, and I think that a lot of people will enjoy this game. I'm just not one of them. And I guess the reasons why is because the game to me feels very restrictive. You know, I joke about how, look, I have a hand of 1 card. But really, that annoys me. I don't like having that 1 card that tells me that's a terrain type that I'm going to put my pieces in. Sure, this game I compared a lot in my mind to Through the Desert. In Through the Desert, I had lots of places I could put my 2 camels each turn. In this game, you're putting 3 houses, which feels similar to the game Through the Desert by Reiner Knizia, which is a great game and in my top 100 actually. But in this game, I feel like I draw the terrain card. Okay, I'm going to put in this terrain. And then I have these 3 objectives that I'm trying to do. And those objectives will further restrict where I'm going. So in Kingdom Builder, I never feel like I am trying to do different strategies than everyone else. We're all in the same place, trying to outplay each other, forced into by the objectives, how we're going to build our houses, and then by the card, where I'm going to do that. Now, you can add in the special abilities and such, which are really not that special. And in fact, I like to say that I've seen some people laud this game like each game you have different objectives, and each game you have different boards out there, and so every game plays differently. That is technically true, but every game feels exactly the same to me. I just don't feel like there's enough meat here for me, enough differentiation between other players. I feel like I'm trying to play optimally with the hand that I've been dealt here in this sense, which is 1 card, and I have to do my best, and it's just not, I feel, I keep coming back to that word restricted, but that's how I feel. On the other hand, I do think that a lot of people will enjoy that, not because they feel restricted, but because the doors are closed on many of the options, so it helps them focus on what they're trying to do. The game is absolutely 100% non-thematic at all, okay? There's no reason why you would try to build a whole bunch of houses in a line and so on and so forth. It's a very abstract strategy game. Fine. So I'm not expecting much more than that. The name of it, Kingdom Builder. No, it's put a bunch of houses on the board. But like I said, I just felt like there's not as much strategy in the game as people say there is. There is some, I won't argue that, and there's definitely a lot of tactics in the game as you play things. I just felt like the game was telling me what to do each turn. It was saying, you have 4 options, what are you going to do? When I would prefer it to be much more open-ended. You can say, well, Vasel, you're expecting something from this game that's not there. And that may be true, but that's why I'm not all over this. I don't think it's a horrible game by any means, and I think a lot of people are really going to enjoy it. And maybe from this review you've seen it and you think it's really fun and cool. But I think it's incredibly overrated. I think that for me, it's a game that's very forgettable. I played it multiple times, and each time I played it, I couldn't right now tell you the difference between the games I played. They all felt the same, and for me, that's a death knell to a game.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find the latest board game news at Dicetowernews.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Fun Again Games, the world's best game source. Fun Again Games has over 5,000 games available. Check them out at funagain.com.
Shut the door.